Hey y'all, and welcome to the Education Link Up, where theory meets practice, aka where I put all of my non-written homework assignments. So I hope you enjoy. Today's assignment is about the global context of education. We had the opportunity to choose one country to explore their education system. I chose the country of Jamaica because my family is Jamaican and I love learning more about my history. So today I'm going to interview a few people from different parts of Jamaica and I'm going to ask them about their experiences within the Jamaican education system and hope that y'all enjoy the opportunity to learn more about their experiences, their culture, and their history. And without further ado, let's get into an interview. First question is, could you please just introduce yourself and tell me like the rundown of schools that you've been to in Jamaica and like a little bit about them?
So my name is Elvis Bennett. I been to, let me say, my basic school. I don't recall the name currently, but my primary school I would have went to Winter Road Primary, right? Then I attended Vauxhall High School. Then I went to Excelsior Community College, where I did my A level, and then I went to the University of the West Indies, where I did my degree.
Thank you. So the first question I'm going to ask is based on what you just said, and that is, can you tell me a little bit about what A levels with? That's not something that we're familiar with here.
All right, so A levels would be a more advanced, what would I say, studies. I don't know if you're familiar with CXC. No, you're not.
Well, everybody's mentioned that so far in the interviews. Not everybody has mentioned A levels. So
All right, so A levels are more the advanced levels of CXC. So A levels would include like courses like psychology, sociology, world history on a broader front.
and this happened in high school? Sorry. This happened. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this would have happened in high school. But the thing is that so most persons probably would have made reference about sixth form. Mm-hmm. Now, sixth form is like a higher grade in high school, but I actually went to college to do my A level. So you could actually do it in high school, or you could actually attend a college.
Okay. Yes, most people did mention sixth form. So thank you for clarifying that. So before we get into the deeper questions, just some fun questions. What was your favorite part of going to school in Jamaica or in you? Yeah.
For me, it was just being around your friends. In high school, for me though, I think the best part of the whole school process for me would be in high school, because that's when you really find yourself. You really decide, okay, this is what I want to do. And that's what I'm saying, yeah. And also you pretty much build friendship that you pretty much have for a lifetime. That's where, high school, that's really where, that really, that bond is really firm. But yeah, high school is definitely the one institution. I mean, apart from university, but high school, that's the real place.
So what was the most challenging part of school in Jamaica?
The most challenging aspect of school in Jamaica. I'm trying to stay focused.
Oh, so what were the distractions?
Yeah, there were a lot of distractions. There were females. There were, there are also companies. When I say company, staying in the right circle. Because if you don't stay in, you could have easily be distracted, being with the guys who are cool or just being with the guys that classify themselves as a thug. So for me, it's definitely that aspect, being able to just focus and know that this is what I want. I want to graduate with my O levels, like 60, and then move on to do my A levels, and then actually just to matriculate to university.
Okay, so then let me look at my question. I just forgot it. Oh, I remember it. Testing. So one thing that I've heard about in interviews, all the interviews so far, was how rigorous the testing was and how, each test has a lot of impact on your future. So can you tell me a little bit about that experience for you?
Yeah, so I could even put it at primary school. So in primary school, we did what you would have called GSAT. Well, I don't know if you would have known the term, but GSAT, that is a test that you would have done in 6th grade to determine which high school you would matriculate to. Now, doing that test is very critical because in Jamaica, you had schools that persons would deem bright school and done school. So you know that in order for you to matriculate to a school that is being a bright school, you would have to do extremely well on the exam. And it's not just on you as a child, but your parents might have friends who make me ask, which school did he pass for? And that's what I'm saying. And that sometimes is a factor. So persons might look at you and say, oh, he's done, sir. He's not up to par, but the exams, yeah, I mean, exams are very, as you might say, vigorous and all that compared to American education system. I guess persons would have said that to you. But
Yeah.
yeah, our thing is more. It's really more rigorous for real. You really have to study and all of that. You can't say I got really swat because it come back to bite you sometime.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so a question that I've been asking, because a lot of the people who are listening to this or seeing this would have never experienced school in Jamaica. So I've been asking just for like a day in the life. So if they were to ask you like, what was high school like for a day in the life from when I woke up to when I came home, what does that look like?
All right. So for me, back in when I attended high school, which was Vauxhall High School, we were on a shift system. So for us, when I was in lower school, I would be at school from around 8:30. So I would normally get up, your bed, you brush your teeth, you have your breakfast. Pretty much where I was living, it was more of a walking distance. So I would walk to school, which would roughly take me around 15 to 20 minutes to get there. Upon getting to school, we would have a devotion. After the devotion, then we would retreat to our respective, what would I say classes. And then we would, for example, we would have like maths. We would have like maths on a Monday. At that time, it was pretty much one teacher that taught every subject. Back in high school, like for the lower class, so the lower class would consist of around from 7th to 9th grade. So from 7th to 9th grade, you had like a form teacher that would have taught like everything, all the subjects, whether it be human and social biology, history, social study. The only thing is that the RE teacher which would be like, no, not RE, PE, physical education. That would be a different teacher. So would actually, we would put on our little shorts and all of that, and we'd be outside, running and whatever it might be. If it's basketball, it's basketball. So yeah, around 10:30, we would have had like lunch. Because remember, I told you that it's a shift school. So unlike some persons, they would have told you that they would have gotten to school from around 8:30. Lunchtime for them would be around 12 or so. But for me in lower school for us would be over by 1 o'clock, seeing that it was a shift system.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was a unique experience too, because I guess everybody doesn't have shift schools, and that's not something that people experience here. So that would be cool to look into and talk about. I'm trying to think of the next question. Let me just look at this real quickly. Okay, so your views on teachers. So in America, teachers, like, they don't make a lot of money. They're not of high regard or things like that. So how do you personally, and what do you think the stigma is around teachers in Jamaica?
All right. So for me, I mean, teachers are very, but hey, funny you put it that way. The teachers in Jamaica don't make a lot of money either. That's the thing. It's sad to say, but teachers are poorly compensated for what they're actually doing, because at the end of the day, teachers are the ones that teach the doctors, the lawyers, and all of that. So they're poorly paid in Jamaica as well. I don't want to deviate from the question that you asked. In regards to the just just run me through it again. The question.
Yeah, but what is the perception of teachers in Jamaica?
All right. So Jamaican teachers are considered to be very good in the Caribbean, not just in the Caribbean, but in the world. And I'm not being boastful or anything like that. But our teachers are highly qualified. and they've really done a good job, in regard to, to teaching students in Jamaica. Because most of them would have went to teachers college and all of that, so they're highly qualified to do what they're doing.
Gotcha. All right. And so my last question for today is going to be, a lot of people who are going to be interacting with this have never been to Jamaica, or if they have, they've been to the beach. So they don't, have a lot of insight of what it means to be a Jamaican, what it means to be, going to school, living in Jamaica, and experiencing some of the things you talked about. So is there anything that you want those people to hear as they're, or learn or know as they're also taking in this interview?
I mean, Jamaica education system. I mean, even when I was in college, we had a diverse, you know, persons coming. We have persons who were as far as from Canada, America. I mean, most of the persons from the Caribbean would definitely attend to like Trinidad, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But what I would say though, for persons who are listening and wanting to know about the education system in Jamaica, is that, as I was saying earlier, it's one of the best education system in the world. And if you decide to come here and to study, whether it is at the university level, you will definitely will be getting a diversity as it relates to education, and you will definitely get a wholesome experience of just being in Jamaica. It's definitely.
Cool. Okay. So is there anything that you think I'm missing? So I don't know too much about school in Jamaica. I started school there, but that's all I know. So besides that, any questions that I didn't
You
answer?
say you started school there, what you migrated?
Yeah. So I just did like, I guess basic school, first grade, kindergarten.
Okay. So you migrated when you were young.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have pretty much covered a good amount of spectrum as it relates to wanting to know about the education system. What can I add to that? I'm trying to think, but you would seem that you pretty much ask some valid questions that persons outside looking in would definitely want to know about Jamaica. So
one thing that I touched on with a couple other people was like uniform, religion, like things like that. That from the outside looking in, I know that's very different. So do you have any thoughts on that?
yeah, so in Jamaica, most schools will have a distinct uniform. As a matter of fact, from basic school growing up, we were attired in uniforms, straight up to sixth form. The only time I don't really wear uniform is when you attend like university. But yeah, the uniform aspect of it pretty much is like you're labeled, because everybody, once you wear a particular crest as a guy or blouse as a female, automatically persons know where exactly the school that you're attending. But yeah, that's the only thing I wish they didn't do in Jamaica sometimes. Like you guys don't really wear uniforms, so you're free for wearing and want to wear.
Yeah. Yes. We are. When you say like, but you said that they know like what, I forget the word that you used, but based on the crest, they could basically tell a lot about.
Yeah, because it's pretty much, you are more like, what would I say? It's like you're labeled, because they know that if they wear the blue crest, right? If they wear a white shirt with a orange, with a purple tie, you know that you're a KC guy. You understand what I'm saying? So people
Means something.
Exactly. And then you have some older schools in Jamaica, for example, like the KC, the Kingston College, the St. George's High School. Those schools are more foundational schools that were driven really when I would say when a lot of those, the church would have founded schools in Jamaica, the St. Hugh's, so most of those schools are like 100 years old. So those schools are classified as traditional high schools.
Okay.
So persons, if you're wearing those colors, you're expected to behave in a particular way, because there's a lot of history behind the school.
Okay.
So yeah,
and
definitely.
that I guess it will be tied into the testing too, because you have to test into certain schools. Or
could you repeat?
I said that would be tied to the testing as well, because you'd have to test into the high school.
Exactly. So for you to attend certain traditional schools, you know that your average would have to be like 100% in everything. So as I said, certain schools, once you see an individual sporting that particular color, it's like you have a perception that that child is a bright child.
Mm.
You understand? So yeah, most definitely.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's all I have for today.
All right, no problem. It was a pleasure assisting.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.